right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So this is Youth-Nex, and this has been a conference about youth. And so far, we've had a lot of youth in the room, and we've heard a lot of voices through videos, and their energy has been channeled. But we haven't really had a chance yet to hear from youth actually doing this work. And so that's what this panel is going to be about. So I'm really humbled and excited and honored to introduce the panelists today. We'll begin with Melanie Gonzalez and Manali Joshi from Whatever It Takes. And WIT is a program that grows students' leadership and entrepreneurial skills through social impact projects with teens through a 32-week program. So Melanie is a high school senior, and she's been in WIT for 2 years. Manali is a junior, and she's working on her second WIT project. So please give a round of applause to them.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melanie Gonzalez.
And I'm Manali Joshi.
And we are Youth of Color charting the course as agents of change. First, we'd like to start off by thanking UVA and Youth-Nex for having us here. It's not often that you see teens involved in a conversation like this, so we thank you for that. And also, we'd like to thank all the presenters that have discussed their projects and things. We really learned a lot from them, so thank you. And to begin, we would like to say that our presentation will focus on the positive repercussions and aspects of discrimination, and there's mostly negative associations with that, but we're going to focus on the positive, although the negative are also important.
So to start off, we want you all to write down 3 words for each of us based on what you perceive of us, what words you think describe us, based on first glance. So you all wrote down 3 words, and although some of these words might accurately describe us, we feel that many of them might not. And just based on being youth of color, we know that lots of judgments happen just based on first glance because of the color of our skin. So we want to share what it's like to have these judgments surrounding us before we're even able to express our true character.
Okay, so what we are up against. Manali and I are both from minority groups. We are teenagers and we are both girls. Now, individually, these strikes are bad enough because people think that you can't do anything. But when you're all 3, you're predestined to fail at whatever you try to do. And we're going to discuss what it's like to have all these strikes against us. So, myths versus truths about being a teenager. Some words that have described us are inexperienced, not focused, too young, and rebellious. Now, they are myths, but we're going to tell you how they are truths. So, inexperience. We have not been in this business field as long as many of you have, or as the other presenters, but that allows us to come at situations and issues with an open mind and with different perspectives, which I think adults have lost as they become adults and leave our age. Next, the not focused part. So yeah, we're not focused, but when it comes to things that we're passionate about, watch out, because we put our complete attention on it, and that's an advantage that we have over adults. Next, we're too young. So we highly disagree with this because you are never too young to start a business or accomplish goals. And also, us being so young, we have the capability of making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. And adults just see that we're too young. They don't see that we are able to go forward. And lastly, we're rebellious. Now, that's a good thing. I don't understand why it's bad, but without rebellion, there wouldn't be change. And I think that rebellion is the spark that starts the fire, and change is that fire. So again, without rebellion, we wouldn't see change at all. Next, we have female myths versus truths, and we have the but people believe that we're not strong enough, we are not the dominant sex, we are not intelligent, and we are not skilled in STEM fields. Now, we may have different physical capabilities that men do, but we have the strength in approaching issues with courage, and that's something that I don't think many men have, and I think we do. Next, we are seen as not intelligent, but I, again, highly disagree with that because we researched that 50% of women in the work field are in STEM fields, so we connected those two.
So as youth of color, we often know that people judge us based on the color of our skin and hold us to standards only so much, or they hold us to standards just based on our skin color. People think that just based on our appearance, we can only accomplish so much and we're only capable of doing a certain amount. And instead of looking at these three things as strikes, we're going to look at them as opportunities to prove people wrong and show them that we can make a difference, no matter if we're female from a minority group or youth of color. So we've been doing numerous things to help and tackle this change, and these are some.
Okay, so two projects that I have personally been involved in are Someone to Talk to and Think About It, and these are both social enterprises that focus on social issues and causes. The first being accessibility to free therapy for teenagers, and the other is bringing awareness to the consequences of sexting.
I've been a part of a project called Student to Student Art, and Student to Student Art's target is elementary schools whose arts programs have been cut due to budget cuts. So this program, teens who are involved with this program go into Title I elementary schools and run an arts rotation program teaching the kids performing and visual arts to supplement their non-existent arts program.
So these are projects that we have been involved in, but there are other teens like us who have done other projects, and I will be talking about Major Decision, and this was created by Giovanna Sanchez and Leo Quintero, and this project targets first-generation college goers who don't have access to the resources of knowing what they can study in college. And Giovanna and Leo created this because in their neighborhood, which is mostly made up of minority groups, they saw that they didn't have a clue of what they wanted to do when they got to college. So they saw the need and they did it.
Another social impact project was called Choose You, which was led and created by a bunch of different teens. And Choose You tackled the idea of childhood obesity. And so Choose You led a teen mentorship program where they taught elementary school kids the tools and other things that they need to tackle and face the epidemic of childhood obesity. So we were all able to create these social impact projects because of our involvement in an organization called Whatever It Takes, WIT. And WIT is a national nonprofit that gives teens a platform to use their voice and show their opinions to the world so that they can make a difference in this world. And students who are involved in WIT get college credit courses, and if you want to learn more about it, you can visit the website.
Now we will be talking about our personal experiences. Again, I said that we want to focus on the positive, but the negative is important so you understand what we have gone through. And personal experiences. So mine would be one time when I was in middle school, and I was involved in a play that was written by another student. And this student wrote it to be a comedy, but involved a lot of stereotypes. And I was among the two of us were of Mexican, Hispanic, Latino descent. And so when I thought I could audition for another lead role, she decided to just cast it herself. So she put us as the Mexican stereotype, and that just made me feel like I couldn't be anything outside of my race. And I just remembered that I would never feel like that again, and that has made me work hard.
My personal experience is stemmed all through my school. Through elementary, middle, and high school, I've always been the token Indian because I've always gone to schools where there weren't many Indians, and I've always been questioned about like the history and knowledge and current events about India. When the first time I even went to India when I was 10 years old, and I always thought that people only looked at me for being Indian and no one could look at me past just my race.
With that being said, we had those experiences in mind, and we decided to ask the teens in our community if they had ever felt discrimination. And so we did a survey, and one experience was from a Mexican American girl, and her memory was of when she was in kindergarten and how they would partner her with other races of older kids to read together, and that they would tell her if she could go with someone else because she was known as the poor brown Mexican girl.
Another story is from an Asian American boy who always felt like he was held up to these standards of being exemplary in math and other academic subjects because of the stereotype of Asian kids having that brain capacity, and he always felt like he wasn't performing to those standards and was often judged for that. He also felt like because his religious and cultural beliefs were not the majority beliefs, he always felt that no one agreed with him, and he was constantly isolated and felt like a minority.
So these are experiences, but we also have statistics. So out of all the people we asked, 78% said that they identify as youth of color.
And 90% of that youth of color population felt that they had at least experienced discrimination once in their life.
So now we have a call to action to you. First, listen to teens around you. If they're anything like us, and I'm sure they are, then you know they have a lot to say. So I advise you to listen to them. Next, if you would like to support us and know about the work that we do in WIT, you can follow us on Instagram at doing_WIT and like our Facebook page, whatever it takes.
Thank you so much for having us today. If you go back to the 3 words that you initially described us with, maybe they're different words that you would describe us with now, or maybe they're the same, but hopefully they present a more accurate depiction of what we're all about. So thank you so much to University of Virginia for having us. We're very excited to be here, so thank you.